In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create kvCORE landing pages for lead generation and give you a ton of marketing ideas to make your landing pages come to life. This is a three-part series that I'm doing. The first part you might have already seen is all about how to set up your landing pages, the technical how-to. And this is part two where I'm going to show you exactly marketing strategies to make your landing page come to life. And stay tuned for part three where I'm going to show you exactly how to take the landing pages that you're going to create today and actually get it out to people, get some eyeballs on it, and actually help build your database. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Tharmila Rajasingam. I'm a real estate marketer, real estate agent, and a global team leader with eXp Realty brokerage. And if this is your first time visiting my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell to get updates on new content. And make sure you watch the video to its entirety and stay till the very end because I'm going to give you some information as to how you can get access to my ultimate kvCORE marketing course where I go into way more information than what you're going to see today. And it's a complete look at all the ways you can actually generate and build your database and how you can get access to that for free. So thank you again for joining me. What I'm going to do right now is make my camera a little bit smaller. And what we're going to do is dive into this and give you guys some actionable marketing strategies to make your landing pages come to life. So what you're looking at right now is some marketing campaign ideas. This is a really good time to take a quick snippet and put some notes aside because really landing pages and making and building them is, and I mentioned this in the last call, is really understanding the functionality of landing pages and the type of content that you're going to create. And it's really all about your marketing objectives. Who are you targeting? What is this for? And what kind of a market are you trying to go after? And there are so many different ways that you can do this. And if you are someone who's working in the pre-construction space, you're going to be able to, you can definitely do marketing, marketing pages like landing pages that are particularly targeting and are focusing on projects that are about to come. You can write copies along the lines of be the first to hear about it, adding some sort of a curiosity or urgency to it. And if you have access to a premium platinum access, not every realtor and brokerages have access to this. So this is a unique privileged information that you have access to. So if you have access to these properties and, anticipated projects, you can take all these amazing words and marketing that they share with you and, the price plan, the price list, the floor plans, and you can get this out to as many people as possible in hopes to attract buyers and investors, right? So what you can do with that is take that information, put it on a kvCORE landing pages. It's directly connected to your CRM, and you can use that and give that information to folks so that they can actually come and learn a little bit more about the project. So keep that in mind. And with this, you can also add some sort of a curiosity but also that anticipation around the idea of if you have any access to VIP incentives, anything that there's any savings for them to have early access. This is a great time to put in those kind of key messages. And then the other that you can take advantage of are some other lead magnets. Remember, anytime you're looking to take information from anybody, make sure you're giving something away. And the best way is to promote you and your brokerage. So one of the ways you can do is to leverage buyer's guide, seller's guide. And if you're like me, my husband and I, as you can see, we put out a lot of content about investors and for real estate investing. So you can create an investor's guide or tenant guide, and it really helping your clients understand that this space and you can really lead with value and you can walk them through this guide of exactly obtain an investment property, for example. And this is one of my favorite way to build your database, and is to give away, to do actual giveaway and run a contest of some sort. And this way you can not only build your database, but you can also get people's not just information, right? But have people like your Facebook, your Instagram, etc., and grow your social media following. And the beautiful part about this is that you can actually support a small business in the process. So what you can do is find, a mom pop shop in your neighborhood, and you can, whether it be a donut shop, a pizza shop. And if you're like me, I live right beside the Rogers Center where the Toronto Blue Jays play for the baseball. I can get a 500 level tickets. It can be super inexpensive. I could use that as a giveaway. This promotes your neighborhood. It talks about the attraction, one of the main attractions here in Toronto. And the reason I'm looking here is because my window literally just faces Gate 8. So it's right out, Gate 9, and it's right out here. So that's why I'm looking out the window at the Rogers Center. So really take advantage of this. And if you go on my Instagram, you know that I share all of this. People know that I live in City Place, that I live in the downtown core, and people know that, and make sure that anything that you're doing in terms of your marketing campaigns aligns with who you are as a person too, so that it's really elevating your brand awareness. And this is a really great way for you to tag the local business that you're partnering with. And what do you think they're going to do? They're going to share it with their network and their following, which you're going to get a ton of different people to look at the content. So that is a really good way. And this is an awesome way, and I know I talk about this in my marketing course too, is that you can send this out through emails, you can post this on your social media page. And that's what part 3 is all going to be all about, is that it's great to set up your kvCORE, learn how to know how to set up your landing page. You can now, people don't know what to put in them, and this is where we come up with different strategies to fill up your landing pages, create multiple different landing pages that target different target audience. But now, how do you get it to them? And that's what we're going to cover in part 3. So make sure you subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for that. The next one is open houses. And the beautiful part about open houses is that it doesn't even have to be your own listing that you can take advantage of this. So you can create a landing page, you can take advantage of the kvCORE open house app, where you can actually do pre-registration. So anytime anyone walks through that property, you can grab their information, then they go directly into your kvCORE. What I love about these landing pages is that you can use multiple features through kvCORE to get people into your database and build your database without you actually having to manually input them, which is beautiful. So I encourage you to take advantage of this, and this is a free tool. And the other is community events. So let's say, if you wanted to, help out and volunteer, you can always choose different spaces to be a part of. And the reason I put location matters is it really depends on the type of event so you're participating in. Because if your events are happening, and if you are a downtown Toronto realtor, don't end up in Belleville in Ontario. And if somebody's from Ontario, they'll understand what I'm talking about, is because you want to really focus in on really elevating your market and your area, so that you're able to be not seen in just in person, but people can see you online talking about it, supporting, and becoming that community leader is so important. So going to these events, giving away something, sponsoring these events, and making sure that you are promoting these events. And a really cool thing you can do is have, one of the best way to actually take advantage of this is that during the beginning of summer or even winter, holidays are a great time where you can make a list of all the holiday events, or list of all the summer events that are happening in Toronto or in the greater Toronto area, for example. And if you live in the Houston area, the Bay Area, wherever it may be, make sure you make a list of everything that's happening for free for families. And now you can put that list make a list and put that in your landing page and say, hey, summer is coming up, or the winter is around the corner, and make sure you get the complete list of everything that's happening in and around the city. And now it's a unique way for you to have people come onto your website, to get people's information, and for you to nurture them. So this is a really unique way to do that, and something a little bit different than just giving away something real estate related, right? And the other is, of course, the classic that we all know, right? If you have a property that, again, if it's yours or if somebody else's, you can promote it, just listed property. Create a landing page specifically promoting that property, or coming soon if there's a property that's about to hit the market. You can also create a landing page for that. I can show you some example in a moment. And it can be super simple. It can even, my favorite about Just Listed is doing a property tour of that property, and then putting in, some information around it. And, to book your own exclusive private showing, click here, and it goes to your calendar, for example, and they get to fill in their information. That's something that's really unique and a great way to get directly to your target audience. Or even something like, if a property is sold over asking, or even asking, do you want a free home evaluation? Things like that are really great in ways of kind of, again, leading with value. And the other is mainly just targeting sellers and buyers. Sellers is a classic CMA or home evaluation and market report. And the beautiful part about both of these, and even the custom list of homes, is that you can leverage, and even, Just Listed or anything like that, you can actually use a squeeze page of the actual listing, a single property or multi property squeeze pages. And this is where you're using multiple, kvCORE tools to really generate leads. And that's why a lot of people don't think like this, is that, start to look at kvCORE as your driver for all of your business. A lot of people miss that about kvCORE, is that, and that's why earlier in my marketing course, whenever I do trainings, I talk about this, is that, and if any of you have ever been in my training, I always talk about systems and processes and understanding and building a strong business foundation, is because it's what it's all about. Marketing and your efforts are offset of that, because it's really about building your database. Is everything that you're doing, can it be tracked? Can it be, can you see a clear journey of your lead being tracked and them appearing in your database? So it doesn't matter how many flyers you hand out. Can the people that see your flyers, can they end up in your back end in your database for you to nurture them? And that's the type of journey that you need to keep in mind and that I want to share with you here. Let's now go to the let's go to another set of some marketing ideas. This is just touching the surface. I just wanted to give you some juices to start flowing before we leave this presentation and actually look at how to putting all of this together. And I'm giving you some more actionable ideas. Some other ideas is, if you are, I have one of my agents who's actually seniors certified. So what is that means is that he can actually help older adults and seniors, people above the age of 55, and that community, and they need a particular, different types of properties, and they have to think about, living in that property, and it might be their, their home into retirement. It could be, and you have to really think about the ways that you can help them with that. And if you target that audience or that demographic, it would be a great idea to create a landing page for that. Or waterfront communities. So if somebody wants a waterfront, a property with water view, or properties with a pool, maybe even a complimentary. And this is a really cool idea that I saw, where somebody was talking about, promoting moving trucks and helping people move, that if you were to list with them, they'll help you with moving. So there's so many different really cool ways for you to market. And again, and again, lead with value, right? And help people in the process. And it says a lot about your business. And if you're into, the real estate investment end, and try to help people get into the real estate investing side, of people that aren't able to write out, purchase properties, rent to own, is a really unique strategy. And if you can promote that, and this is a really cool way too, and I can show you an example of this in a moment, is that you can create a blog, or even a list of, Q&A of some most asked questions from buyers and sellers, and they can get access to that, and you could do a YouTube video if you wanted. And to be honest, the sky's the limit with this. You can do it in any kind of form, any kind of medium, and share this through your landing page. So the other thing that I wanted to just talk about is some just strategies of sample pages, and then we'll go into looking at real life examples of what I mean by all of this. Again, like I said, some of the things you want to consider is consistent branding. Are your branding with everything that you're doing, from your website to your social media, are they consistent? The next thing I want to share with you are some things I want you to consider when you think about landing pages. And I'm going to really jump out of this presentation in a moment and show you some real life examples. But couple of things I want you to consider when you're building your landing pages is to think about a consistent branding. Are you staying consistent with your branding? That is, all of your online presence, from social media to really anything that you're doing, whether it be print material, online, whatever it may be, are they all consistent? And your target audience, really keep that in mind. A lot of times people make all sorts of landing pages and we don't know who we're really targeting, because once you determine that earlier, you can start writing content really targeting the people that you're looking to get in front of. And this is going to really help us when we go to part 3, which is really getting in front of your target audience. Make sure you keep things super concise. It's a very noisy world right now. A lot of people, there's constant text messages coming through. People are calling us. There's a lot of new things that are happening in people's lives. And at the same time, we're so occupied with social media, and it's so easy for people to get distracted. So keep things simple and have a really clear flow of what you want people to do. And that's why in the first part I talked about making sure you're not having too many distraction in your pages, right? Making sure you're really thoughtful about the images that you're using, and you're not distracting anybody, even just them finally landing on your landing page, right? And keep your language plain. Everyone, it doesn't matter where you are right now, especially in North America, right? Many of us speak many different languages, and some of are new to the country. So how could you use simple languages for people to even understand what you're trying to share with them? Try to stay away from any, unique lingos, real estate lingos that people might not understand, any, acronyms that people might not know unless they're from that target audience group. So, and make sure you always have some sort of a call to action, right? Something that's going to really take them where you want them to go. Really be thoughtful about that journey, and make sure you're always adding in a hashtag to track. And I'll show you some examples in a way that you can track this, and have some sort of a naming convention as well, because this is going to really, really go a segue into everything that you're doing right now when it comes to your database. Because it's not just landing pages, your squeeze pages, everything that you are going to be using hashtags for, and the way you keep your database organized. Make sure you check that video out on organization and categorization, because that's going to really make or break your business. And it's really all about understanding and having a better understanding of who is in your database. And then, Leverage video. We constantly go to the lead generation page type when we're creating landing pages, and we stick to text. Take it to the next step. Make sure you're incorporating video, and I'll show you an example in a second. And this is by far one of the most important. Generating leads are all great and fun, but it's nothing. Literally, the reason why there's 87% of real estate agents often fail is because they're not following up. People are not, there's so many people that are not staying top of mind. So activate your smart campaign, get some drips in place, have a strong follow-up strategy. And I have some great videos coming around this. So stay tuned on my YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe right now. It's a great reminder. And before we jump off, here's a great example of ensuring that it doesn't matter if it's offline, if it's traditional marketing, whether you're not always online, but you can track different process, even if it's just a simple business card like the one you're looking at for my husband and I. This goes directly to a landing page. You can scan it right now and check it out. And this is something that we hand out. It's our business card. We hand it out anywhere we go, any kind of properties we show, and primarily when we're at investor and meetups, which my husband and I go to a number of different ones on a monthly basis. So I encourage you to think really beyond and get creative. And that's what this video is all about, to give you an ample amount of ideas for you to really have things come to life for you. So let's jump out of this presentation and head directly into building kvCORE landing pages. So for all of you, as you know, when you sign into kvCORE, let's bring my camera right here. When you sign into kvCORE and you head to lead engine, you can come and build a landing page here, or you can come here and click to build a landing page here. And when you click build landing page, it'll open up a page that looks like this. And this is where you get to put in all of your content and create exactly what you need to. My biggest strategy is, and I started talking about this in part one, is that start thinking about, again, what you listen to some of the ideas that I just gave you in terms of some campaign ideas. Start thinking about, taking my own, or, thinking about something that you want to do that's unique to what you represent, whether if you're a luxury agent or if you have access to model homes, if you target, like I mentioned, 55 plus communities, or if you target families with young children, it's a great target audience. So, or first time home buyers or investors like my husband and I focus on. So think about that. And once you've done that, think about the type of landing pages you want to build. And first and foremost, you want to start, writing out some copy, exactly bringing to life exactly what you want. So I can bring this closer so you can see. Start to write some copy out exactly of what you're feeling, how you want some things to be seen and, show up as. And you're going to take this and keep it, like I said, concise, to the point, and add some excitement to it. And you can come here, take the content and start writing this out here and start copy and pasting, the content in here. And if you do not want all four of them, you can double click to remove them. So as you can see, I only wrote copy that's just going to fit directly into this, because I want people to go directly to checking out this link, because I think the two copy at the top, the two titles, is great ways to just pull them directly in. And I already showed you this, so I'm not going to dive too deep into it. I highly recommend that you keep track. The moment you save this, it's not going to allow you to edit or or edit this. So make sure you read this thoroughly, and hence why it's so important that you do the legwork up front. Do a little bit of prep work. Make sure you get the spelling in check, your grammar in check before you start copy and pasting. And that if you make a mistake at all, if you double click something and it disappears, just refresh it and you'll get a new page again to start over. And that's the unfortunate part too, right? If you're really far along and if it's refreshes itself, you kind of lose it. But again, knowing that, just be prepared ahead of time. And now that I'm prepared ahead of time, I do save a lot of time in the end. And while you're doing that, remember the hashtag is going to go in here. This is where everything's trackable, right? My biggest recommendation is when you save this, it's going to give you a link. It does now in kvCORE, it's saved, but in the event that you miss them, and I like to keep everything in one place for various reasons, there is a tracking sheet that I have access to that I can give it to you, and I'll make sure to put a link here at the bottom. So make sure you get access to this and start saving and tracking all of your squeeze pages, all the ads that you run. If it's connected to a squeeze page, then make sure you put that in. Any landing pages that you're using that's targeting a specific audience, start tracking them here. The image link, which I'll talk about, I'll share with you in a second. It'll make a lot of sense why it's there. Put in your hashtag, number of leads you got from it, the type of promotions or ads that you ran, have you converted anyone into client, and have you closed any of the deals? When did you run it? And any other notes you want to add in. I highly recommend that you leverage this tool. This is going to make or break your business, because what what you manage, what you measure, you're going to be able to manage. So I highly recommend that you do that. So let's go back here and continue. And the call to action is super here. Make sure that whatever you write here is really simple, is telling them exactly what to do, and or see the list of homes, whatever it may be, or see a list of pool properties, see a list of waterfront community properties, whatever it may be. You can add that here. And this is the URL that, like I mentioned in part one, that you want them to go to after they click this link. Once they fill out their information, where do you want them to go? And this is where you're going to come and click that. And when they go there, it's going to take them to the value itself, right? The buyer's guide, the list of community. Let's have a look at like creating a squeeze page, just to show you what I mean by a list of home, custom list of home. This one says, attention Toronto home buyers, here's a free list of condos under 600,000. So let's go and create that. So let's go. So if you go to lead engine, very similar, you can build a squeeze page here, or you can come over here and click an IDX squeeze page, and you can build it right here. It's going to open this up, and you can create multiple different multi-properties, single properties. Like I remember I mentioned earlier, if you want to promote a coming soon or just listed property, actually just listed, that's currently on the market right now, whether it's yours or you get permission to promote, you can come and use a single squeeze property page. In this case, we're going to do, custom list of homes for condos under 600,000. Of course, I'm in the city of Toronto, so I'll put Toronto. Oh, there it is. Okay. Perfect. Instead of just a real estate board, because I want to get all of the properties that I can get access to. But this is the MLS board that I do have access to. So let's keep it at that. And then the listing type, you can come and choose condos right here. You're going to choose the style of properties. In this case, it's just condos, so I'm not going to touch any of that. I'm not going to touch anything else but the price, because I wanted any properties under 600,000. So I'm going to put max, 600,000. And then you're going to be able to come in here and put option as just listed. And then let's come here and create where it's going. Let's say you do a Facebook ad or whatever it may be. So make sure Facebook ad, squeeze page, make sure keep an eye on exactly. That's not the greatest naming convention. I highly recommend that you have a proper naming convention. What I currently have is, squeeze page, Facebook ad, or custom list of, condos, squeeze or squeeze page, condos, 600 Facebook ad or something like that. And that could be actually the hashtag and the source where you put them. You can also add them exactly where they come from. So Facebook ads, squeeze pages. So you know exactly the type of naming convention that you're using. And then the other name that I was giving you in terms of hashtag. So for example, who they are they, custom list a home, if they're for buyers, veterans, families, whatever it may be. Make sure you have some naming conventions that are really keeping this database organized. In my case, I put buyer's guide, in because this is going to be, if it's a buyer's guide, I use buyer's guide, but this is a squeeze page, so it's custom list of homes, so you can put condos 600 squeeze page or something like that, so you know exactly where they are, what they're interested in, right? And the other thing that I wanted to mention is, this is huge. Make sure that you are choosing how many times, what can they view before they're captured into, recommend that they're looking at. So one of the things that I recommend with this is that you're using a landing page to capture their information. You don't want them to click on, you know, some properties and then it asks them to log in again. So what you can do is you do that if you like to, or you can put never. But the whole point of it is that you can capture their information. So make sure that if you're using this on its own, you add that in. So let's also look at now, go ahead and generate this link. It's going to give you a direct link that now you can come here and actually go and check this out. And this is what the squeeze pages is going to pull up for all of the condos that are under $600,000 in Toronto. And it's taking a little bit to pull up. Sorry guys, my internet's been a little slow today. And what you're going to do is take this link and you're going to come here and you're going to use it in here. So when they fill out the property, it's going to go directly there. Does that make sense? So when they come here, make sure you identify where they're coming from in the source. Make sure you identify the hashtag. I personally like to keep this hashtag, identified as coming from landing pages, that's coming from squeeze pages, but they're both pertaining to the same campaign, which is why it is important that you're using this tracking tool and you're tracking them so you know exactly what the squeeze pages and landing pages, what hashtag they've used. And this is just my naming convention. I'll leave it up to you to make that decision for your business of what makes sense to you, what that you can recognize. kvCORE uses all sorts of things like Facebook ad, squeeze pages, or property boost ad. They'll use all sorts of hashtag naming conventions. So use what is necessary for you to identify where they're coming from, which is the most important. And then next is the interesting part, and then require phone number, like I mentioned in part one, right? Personally, that's just like I like to ask, but a lot of people, they will disagree with me on this, is that people think that you don't need it because this is just the beginning part of a relationship. And I'll leave it up to you of how you want to, what kind of decision, what makes sense for your business. So I'll leave it up to you and the type of relationship you want to have with, depending on the audience that you're trying to reach. This is really unique. I touched on this a little bit when we were on part one, where we were talking a little bit about images and distraction and making sure that you don't have any too high contracts to too busy images. We'll talk a little bit about today on custom background images, because I know I didn't get a chance to really walk you through what this looks like. This is where when you click it, you can actually put a URL that's going to change the image in the background, which if I were you, I highly recommend that you use something a little bit different, something unique that's going to capture people's eyes, because the images are huge. For me, I use it as something that is super simple, that is related to my branding, which is the cover page of my website. That's just me, so that all of my landing pages look similar. There's pros and cons to everything, to be honest, and it's super subjective. And I will tell you that there are some images that capture other people than not. I know one of the biggest things that you learn about, in marketing, is that people tell you that images matter, but images with people and faces and smiling, it grabs people's attention. I do agree with that. However, on a landing page is where it's being used as a background image with text on top of people's faces, might not quite work as well. It's going to be, if anything, distracting. That's from my design perspective and a humble opinion. I wanted you to, but also a strategy too. It's not just an opinion. I want you to keep that in mind when you're building your marketing pieces out as well. So let's go in here and quickly look at some ways you can get that link. So there's some free images that you can get, obviously, from Canva. Canva has, images that are, if you have the free account, you have images that you have access to, but if you have the pro account, you have most of the images and video that you can use for free. I also recommend this website called Pexel. Again, I'm not sponsored by them. None of these I have any affiliation with, but I'll give you the link if you need to, and look them up. And you can look up any images. For example, if I want pictures of Toronto, all I have to do is click to download the image here. And what I'm going to do is come here, which is a really interesting tool called Post Image. There's so many different ones that you can do this. This is just like a free hosting for your image, which is going to give you that link, a permanent link that you can use on your website. So let's come here, choose an image. I already downloaded some, City of Toronto pictures. It's going to give you a link. Make sure you click on this link right here, the direct link, okay? So I'll give you an example. Let's click that. Let's go back to our landing page right here. Custom background, I'm going to click on. It's going to give me this little pop-up to put my URL in, my link. Copy, paste that, press OK. You see, it changed my image. Once again, this is a little bit different, right? Look at this. I'm going to bring this out so that you see this. Because of the size of my window, depending on the computer, that image, you see it's optimized. So if you're looking at it on your laptop, you might be like, oh, it's cut off. But really, depending on how people are viewing it, it might be a little different, right? So that's why I love using images that aren't too contrasty, not too busy. And there's so many different images of the city of Toronto where it sometimes zooms in a little bit and you can't really see the CN Tower. So I like to use an image that's really compelling, that tells a story, and it keeps people here. So that's my recommendation. And then definitely always, identify who your lead type is so that they're also captured, organized pretty well. So let's go back to kind of looking at some example website. This is really important for you to see, how all of this really come to life and what they all look like. One of the ones that I want to show you as an example is one of the ones that I have for free buyer's guide. Check this out. This is on my website. You can go and click this. And if you put in your information, like I always mention, I always require a phone number, and they can go download my buyer's guide. You can also check out my off market deal. This is the one that was on my business card. When you click on this, you'll arrive at this page. You can take advantage of that as well. And then there are ones that where you can look at. This is just a quick one that I whipped up just to show you, where it has a video, a property tour of our first investment property we purchased in the US and in Detroit, so that, just letting people know, hey, this is what it looks like. If you want to know more information, check this out. If you want to have access to more deals like this or whatever, right? So I'll leave it up to you. But the reason I put this together is just to show you the images that I've chosen in the background. You see there's us, but no image, nothing's cutting us off, and we're off to the side. It's just a good background image, right? And it's still consistent with my website. So if you go onto my main website, you can see right here, it's a very similar image that we're using. And then on top of that, what I love about this is that the high contrast too, is that you can see the copy as well. This is the other one that I made. And then you can see different types of content, like a video on it. And one thing about this is that I don't love is that, in this case it works because it was strategic that way, that it's about the video. So if they go here or here, it kind of leads them to YouTube. But in this case, if they watch the video, making sure that they're not too distracted, right? Because when they start to watch this, make sure that they still come back to filling out the information. So whatever that you share them here, make sure that it's not too distracting and it takes them elsewhere. So it's very important that you think about their journey, because if you don't have their information, you kind of lost them, right? So the whole point of the landing page. So keep that in mind. I hope this information was really helpful for you in bringing this, bringing landing pages to life, because I think this is a part that where a lot of people have a hard time with this. What do I put in there? How do I write landing pages? And if you need more information about this, any more help with this, make sure you check out the link in the description below. Purchase my kvCORE marketing course. I have all of this and more. And as well, if you want to get access to this course for free, you have an opportunity to partner with me, join our group, and have access to much more resources to help scale, to grow and scale your business. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, hit that subscribe button, stay connected with me, like this button if you found it helpful. And if you have any questions at all as I was going through this, make sure you leave in the comment section below. I'd love to answer them. And if there's anything that you want to see in terms of kvCORE, put that in there as well. I love to create some more videos for all of the followers that I have on this channel. So thank you so much, everybody. My name is Tharmila Rajasingam. I'm a real estate marketer, real estate agent, and a global team leader with the ISB Realty brokerage. I'll see you next time.